Step by step on business. That's on my mama, watch me spin on me and split, now I can't feel it. We in the trap, we sold the city on my biddy. Take these diamonds off and show you how we lit it.
Welcome back to another episode of the For the Horn podcast. This is episode 53. We missed Monday. We had a lot going on. A couple of us couldn't make it. Some of us wasn't feeling well. It is what it is, but we're back. As you know, I'm with my guy, Day One, as always.
Yes, sir. What's good? We back. Let's talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dennis, he hasn't been on Thursdays. He got class, and then spring ball has started, so he's going to be a little bit busy. But, we got to keep the show rolling. And as you know, we got to kick it off with the NBA around the Hardwood, talk about the biggest games that's happened from the past few days. We got a few playoff matchups, potential playoff matchups, and playoff teams facing each other. So we got to, give our takes on that and what we've seen coming down the stretch. So these games is what matters for seeding at this point. So these are the most important games. And then next, the March Madness tournament is underway. So we're going to deep dive into that, talk about who we think can go all the way, our Final Fours, who we think is going to make it out of each region, and see what happens there. And then going over to football, we got to talk about the trade that happened over this past weekend with Justin Fields getting traded for a 6th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what impact that could have on Russell Wilson and who should be the starting quarterback. But without further ado, take it away, Damon.
Hey, episode 53. Welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in for whatever platform you guys are watching or listening to us on. Let's kick it off with the NBA. You already know we do the segment called Around the Hardwood. We talk about the last couple NBA games and we give a deep dive into it and your thoughts and opinions on it. Let's start off with Monday night's game. We saw the Philadelphia 76ers defeat the Miami Heat 98-91.
Here's my thing. And I get it. Jimmy Butler did not play in this game. And, we could dive into this game a little bit. Philly did win. Tyrese Maxey had a big game, 30-point, close to triple-double. He had 30, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. Kelly Oubre also was in the starting lineup. He scored 22 and 11, which helped put them over the edge. The only other player in the starting lineup that was in double figures is Kyle Lowry. You had 12 from Buddy here off the bench. The rest of the bench was pretty much abysmal. And like I did mention, the Heat were without Jimmy Butler, so you could take that however you want. But, Bam Adebayo did what Bam usually does, a double-double, 20 and 13. Terry Rozier stepped up with 20 and 8 to make it a competitive game. But all in all, Philly, made out with the win. But I really want to deep dive into, this is right now currently a 7-8 matchup. So if the playoffs was to start today or the play-in, these two teams will be playing in the play-in to see who gets that 7th seed. And I'm not going to lie, you got one team who had, potentially the MVP of the season. He's out. Hopefully he's back by playoff time. You got to see what happens there. You know how Embiid can get, with his weight and being in shape and stuff like that, especially not being able to be on your legs with that meniscus. So we're going to see how he looks there. But I don't get the same feeling that I had before with this Miami Heat team. And I get it. This is a team that always comes on late, turn it up in playoff time, gives a lot of teams matchup, especially in a 7-game series. But I just don't have that same feeling that I had in the past. And I get it. I didn't have that feeling the past couple of years sometimes. But this time, I just really don't see it. I just don't see I mentioned this, I think, on the last podcast, a couple podcasts before, is the Gabe Vincent's and the Max Strus. And I'll be honest as well, on the Philly side as well, I don't think this team, even when Joel Embiid is back into the starting lineup, can win a championship. I'm sorry. Just watching this team, and I get it, you're missing a very, very key piece, but I don't think Joel Embiid would be the only piece that could put this team over a Boston or New York or Milwaukee or teams like that. So that's just my opinion on this game and this matchup.
I'm not going to lie. Both of these teams without their stars, they do not look great. You got to give some players credit, though. Sixers are still working what they got. Tyrese Maxey dropped a smooth 30. Oubre dropped 22. I'd like to see that. Buddy Hield dropped 12 for the bench. But for Miami, Adebayo and Rozier dropped 20, but we have two players that's in the starting lineup that was in single figures, with Duncan Robinson only dropping 3 and Yame Yakes dropping only 9. I agree with you, honestly, in some ways about this Miami Heat team. And I said this before, the Heat aren't really good in the regular season, but in the postseason, that's what you got to watch out for them. But something feels off about this Heat team. I agree with you 100%. And I don't think it's coaching. I think it's just the talent that they have. And then for Philly, they need Joel Embiid. It's very, very imperative that they get Joel Embiid back for the playoffs, because without Joel Embiid in the playoffs, the Sixers team is not even going to make it past the first round. Tyrese Maxey can only carry the team so far, and they have a solid supporting cast, but it doesn't get any deeper than like the 7th or 8th man on the bench. This team needs help. Both of these teams need help, actually. And if the season right now and these teams were a playing team, honestly do not know who I will pick to make it past and get a playoff spot. I can't tell you. So, but all in all, this is a pretty solid game. Good win by Philly, but both teams need heavy work done. All right, sticking with Monday night's game, we saw the New York Knicks defeat the Golden State Warriors, led by Jalen Brunson, 34 points.
This one was a big game because they did not have OG Anunoby for this game. He was out with injury, but I mean, Jalen Brunson had him a game. He had 34, 7, and 5. You also had 29 points from Miles McBride as well. And then you had Josh Hart going all 48, having a triple-double, 10 point, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. I think he's one of those guys that, just brings a lot to the table. Energy hustle guy. He didn't shoot the ball that well from the field, only 5 from 18. He did take the second most shots on the team, but, what he did rebounding and assisting as well as, playing all 48 is to be commended. Dante DiVincenzo has been having him a good year. He had 18 in this game. I think that was just the biggest difference. Steph Curry is Steph Curry. Steph Curry going to do what he going to do. He had 27, 4 for 13 from the three, and that's just not going to cut it given that, what this team is and what they need. You did get 18 off the bench from Clay. Jonathan Kuminga, who's pretty much been their second best player all year long, chipped in with 16. But, you had a classic Draymond game, 1 for 7, 2 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's what you're going to get from Draymond. Let me not get day one started. But, we have one team that's going to be in the playoffs and another team that's going to be in the play-in. But what's your opinion on these two teams and what you see from these two teams leading into the postseason?
Again, the Warriors, they keep struggling. Like, they have a solid bench. Chris Paul and Clay come off the bench. Also, Jackson come off the bench and Gary Payton in a second. But Podziemski needs to drop. Yeah, Podziemski.
Yeah, you can't go over as a starter.
Yeah, Podziemski needs to definitely score. Like, what in the world are you doing? And then Wiggins only dropping 7. Draymond, his typical under 5 points game, whatever. I'm not even going to get started on Draymond Green, but Curry can't keep carrying this team. Steph Curry cannot continue to carry this team. This is just dreadful. For the Knicks, on the other hand, they didn't have to do too much. Jalen Brunson, like with 34, Josh Hart only had 10, but like Khalil said, his shooting needs to be better. Knicks are a solid team. It's a really solid team. They're doing really good this year. I'm excited for them, but I got a feeling that we'll see the Knicks just fold. I see them folding in the second round. I don't see the Knicks making it past the second round. But still, this is very, very impressive this year. Very, very
Dennis
impressive.
Don't like that. Dennis don't like
care.
that one.
I don't care. I'm keeping it a buck.
Dennis don't like that one.
That's pretty much all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, especially like when Julius Randle's out, so that's big. We got to see when he's coming back or if he's coming back, as well as OG Anunoby being out as well. I mean, this team is scrappy. I think can give a team problem, can give a Milwaukee or Boston some problems in a series, but yeah, I don't know if they make it past the second round either. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but I
keep it a buck.
I just don't see it happen.
All right, let's move on Tuesday night's game. We're going to talk about one game for that night. Is when the Denver Nuggets defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 115-112.
Jokic shows why he is arguably the best player in the league. I'll have him at number 1. You can pick if you want to go Giannis or whoever you want at number 1. But Jokic shows it any given day. They pretty much told Jokic, hey, we not about to let you be out here, be a playmaker. He says, okay, I'm going to go out there and go put 35 on your head, shooting 14 for 22. And as well I'm doing that, I'm going to grab 16 boards as well, on your big. They were missing Gobert and Cat. Obviously, Cat's been out. So, he did his thing. He punished them down low in the block. Aaron Gordon chipped in with his 14 and 11 double-double. But this is just a veteran ball club. This is just not much not much more praise I can give them. Michael Porter Jr. with 26. We know how he can get off at any moment and have a hot streak. We seen it before. This team can just beat you for so many ways. Jamal Murray, a double-double as well with 11 assists. But hats off to, Ant-Man. He did all he could do. He had 38 and 8, shooting 50% from the field. Jalen McDaniels also had 26 in the starting lineup. But like I said, they're missing some key pieces when you don't have Gobert and and Cat in the lineup to deal with a guy like Jokic. So, I mean, do you think come playoff time, this Timberwolves can be a contender to beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series or giving them problems in a 7-game series if they were to see each other? I think the only way they would be able to see each other, unless OKC makes it to ends up as the number 1 seed, is in the conference finals. Unless OKC is the number 1 seed, do you think Timberwolves have a chance to knock them off?
I'm gonna say no. And I know in this game, and I'm gonna just take my chance. I'm just gonna take over from here. And I know this game they missed Cat and Gobert, but Jokic had his way. Jokic has his way with almost anybody. That's the reason why he's leading the MVP race right now. I think it's him and Luka. I think out of them two, that's who should be your definite MVP. I'm not gonna say definite, but Giannis is up there too. But definitely had Luka and Jokic. But back to Jokic, the dude's just nasty. 35 and 16, and of course you got Jamal Murray supporting Michael Porter Jr. He explodes whenever, like Khalil said. Aaron Gordon added 14 as well. So, bro, this Nuggets team is just too good. Now the Wolves, they are a very good team as well. Don't sleep on them. They are a very high team in the Western Conference right now. But if the playoffs started, I can see the Wolves giving Nuggets fits. But I think the Nuggets take them out of here in 6. Denver
Nuggets
probably
in
gonna get up out here in 6. Nuggets in 6. I'm being for real. And it's not that I don't the Wolves aren't a good team. It's just this experience. This is the team that won the NBA Finals last year, and they won it for a reason. It wasn't a fluke. Minnesota's performing at a high level this year, but this Nuggets team is different, and they showed you. It was a very narrow game, but
they're going to be a problem. And we've seen it, especially in, bring this up because this is your guy, when they play LeBron in the conference finals. They were all close games.
They all were.
But they just found ways to win. And I think that's what separates the good from the great, and the championship teams from the teams who never get over the hump. Is in those last 5 minutes when the rubber needs to meet the road. You have guys that step up, and it's not always Jokic. Maybe it's Jamal Murray. Maybe it's Michael Porter Jr. Last year was a Bruce Brown. This year maybe Christian Brown. Like, it's just they have those guys that can step up and hit shots when they need to. And that 2-man game that Jamal Murray and Jokic get going, especially in that fourth quarter, like it's hard to stop that 2-man game. Like, pick your poison. Jamal Murray can, come off the screen, get down here, or he can step back, hit the 3. Don't give it to Jokic. Jokic either, scores the bucket or passes it, finds somebody that's wide open and scores. And I think that gives a lot of teams problem, even a team with very good big men. I already know how they want to feel about Rudy Gobert, but Karl Anthony Towns as well.
Soft. They're both soft to dog. They both soft to dog shit. It is soft as a baby's ass.
But yeah, like, I think the biggest thing they do have, though, is that they do have the size to give them problems. But the execution late in ball games is just going to be a lot for any team. You have to be flawless at the end of games to beat this team.
Mm-hmm. And we've all talked about the different Nuggets before, saying how at one clip, one player can go off, another player can go off. Like, it's just that's how good the team is composed of. And shout out to Coach Malone for putting this team together and having a well-coached team. And he's a great head coach as well. But if it came down to a 7-game series, give me the Nuggets in 6. Let's move on to the first Wednesday night game. We saw the Milwaukee Bucks fall to Boston Celtics 122 to 119 without Giannis Antetokounmpo.
This is tough, man. This is tough because with no Giannis and y'all only win by 3 points, that's the issue. And Damian Lillard had him a phenomenal game.
He did.
With 32 points. Chris Middleton stepped up with 22. Bobby Portis gave you 24 off the bench. But, like, I don't know. Like, and like I said, this is with no Giannis. So, like, I don't know what to expect from this Milwaukee team when Giannis comes back. But I can say without Giannis, Damian Lillard has been playing phenomenal basketball.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And I don't know what you do when these two get back together and you're in a 7-game series. Like, is it going to have to be where Dame is the decision maker, the ball's in Dame here, and whatever Dame wants to do, he does? Or is it we're going to play through Giannis and let Dame get his as well, And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for this team once it comes playoff time, is that Damian Lillard has been playing his best basketball without Giannis. If I want to be open and honest with you,
no, he really has been. He has been. That's like kind of like an issue in a way, but it's good. But it's an issue.
But here's the thing, that's the type of game he's he's been used to his whole career.
Exactly.
I mean, you had
Exactly.
CJ McCollum and whatever the case may be, but you've always been the best player and really have never really had to defer to anybody. Now you're going to a
Exactly.
team where you're not the best player and this is not your team. So I don't think they can get over the hump with Damian Lillard being the driving force. I think you're going to need a Giannis, especially against the Boston and stuff like that. But this game should never have been as close as it was. But Boston let them hang around, gave them life. But Jason Tatum had a pretty solid game. Jaylen Brown did not shoot efficiently enough. But Boston is 11 games up on Milwaukee for the first place seed in that conference. This is win now. I'm sorry, it's win now.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
have to win. You
better
have to
time.
win. You have to win.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I get it. Jason Tatum's only 25. Let's be real. A lot of players didn't start winning until later in their 20s. Like LeBron didn't win his first ring until he's 27, 28. Jordan set around the same age, whatever. Kobe is a different story because he had Shaq, whatever the case may be. But this is win now, bro. You have the clear-cut best team, if not in the league, at least in your conference. So if you don't at least make it to a conference finals, the season is a bust, and I don't know where you go from here. Like that's where it is. That's where I am at right now. I'm not going to, broach those kind of ideas of what should they do if they don't win, because that's not an option that's on the table right now. They have to win.
We said this before too. We talked about the Boston Celtics. Are they frauds or actually legit? And they are a very legit team. They have the best record in the NBA. They're playing at a phenomenal level. But this game, it shows you when you let teams hang around, that's what happens. They're going to creep up and they almost take you out. And they did this without their best player. Arguably, I'll say the second or third best player in the league right now, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Boston has to be better. Jaylen Brown, you're getting paid all this money. You have to shoot better. Again, we all have our off nights, but you and Tatum supposed to be that 1-2 punch.
Highest paid
Great
player
game.
in the league.
Exactly. Great game by Peyton Pritchard off the bench with 19. Boston is a well-equipped team. But 100%, Khalil, you are correct. It's championship or bust. It's at this point you have to. Like, Boston, if you don't make it to the chip, I don't even want to fathom what you guys have to do. I don't even want to fathom what the league, what the world is going to say about this Boston Celtics team. You definitely don't want to hear my mouth if y'all don't make it to the finals. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm going to rip you guys in half. I'm going to call for everybody to get fired, get kicked out of the locker room. I'm calling for everything.
I will say that the thing that I really did not like in that game was like they kind of went back to that one-on-one ISO kind of basketball that was the reason why they got bounced out the playoffs last year, or bounced out the finals, because of that one-on-one basketball kind of play. But part of that is because they did not have Drew in this game. But you got to find ways to get easy baskets and not have two players taking turns going one-on-one ISO kind of thing.
All right, let's move on to the last game that we're going to cover for this. The Phoenix Suns defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 115-102. The Philadelphia 76ers definitely struggled as only one player in the starting lineup scored over 10 points.
Yeah, this was just not their best game, and maybe this is one of the reasons why I'm not the highest on Tyrese Maxey. Like, he's a very good player, but I don't think he's a number 2 on a championship winning team. I'm sorry. At best, a number 3. I don't think he's a number 2 on a championship winning team.
Okay, I can somewhat agree with that.
And part of it is because of this. And don't get me wrong, like, you had a phenomenal game from Grayson Allen, who hit 9 threes, scored 32 points. And that's one of the things that make the Suns team is so dangerous, is that Grayson Allen has been one of the best 3-point shooting players in the league this year, and he shows it again.
He lit him up.
You have KD efficient, 10 for 18, 22 points. D-Book and Bradley Beal didn't have their best game, but they didn't need to when Grayson Allen was going crazy the way he was. But like you mentioned, bro, none of their starters besides one, and that was Kelly Oubre, scored double figures. Your best player did not even get 10 points. You're relying on Kyle Lowry, Nick Batum, and Mo Bamba also in your starting lineup right now, which is kind of concerning because I don't think Kyle Lowry's best days are behind him. Nick Batum is very solid, but where am I going to get from him on a given night? But the biggest things that I get from Nick Batum is his veteran leadership and his will, like, on the defensive side of the ball. But as far as being a threat to score, he's not a guy that I'm afraid of. And Mo Bamba is Mo Bamba at the end of the day. I think he's best coming off the bench as a big man. But playing as a starter, I don't really see it. But this is just one of the reasons why I'm not too high on this team, just because, like I said, I'm not the biggest Tyrese Maxey fan. I think he's a number 3 on the championship winning team. I don't think he's a number 2. I'm sorry.
Maxey, he has his games where he has his lows, and this is one of those games. Now, I'm not gonna throw the towel in on him yet, but I do see what you're saying, and I do somewhat agree with your statement about him being probably the number 3 option on the championship team. Maybe he need to get out of Philly as well if he really wants to win, but that's a conversation for a different day. But Sixers, honestly, all in all, did not play good at all. Your bench scored more than your starting lineup. That's pathetic. That's disgusting. And then for the Suns, it wasn't even KD that lit you up. I mean, he had an efficient game with 22. It wasn't even D-Book that lit you up. He had an efficient game with 18. Bradley Beal only dropped 3. Grayson Allen just put 32 in your head and made 9 threes. Grayson Allen. Now, I'm not crapping on Grayson Allen at all. I'm not talking about his past as him being a dirty player, but hey, he definitely pulled a strap out this game and put it on Philly. I ain't gonna hold you. But the Sixers, this is very concerning. So we talked about Sixers against the Heat. A couple days later, it's concerning. Let's see if the Sixers can even make a playoff spot. Like I said earlier in the segment, they definitely need Joel Embiid back. It is crucial that they get him back.
My question is for you on the Phoenix Suns. Given they have about 13 games left in the season, and there's 3 teams right now deadlocked for 6th place. You got Sac that's sitting at 6. Phoenix at 7, Dallas at 8, all 40 at 29. Do you think Phoenix makes it out the play-in to get in that 6th seed? Or do you think, who do you think gets that 6th seed out of Phoenix, Dallas, and Sacramento?
Ooh, this is tough because Dallas
And
has been playing pretty
not
good.
only that, who do you think needs that 6th seed?
I was gonna say that too. Okay, let's start off with the first question. Dallas been playing really, really solid lately. You can't lie. And I'm not going to. Lakers are hanging around there too. They're only 3 games behind all these teams. So always the Golden State Warriors. They say, the West is pretty stacked. But let's stick with those 3 teams that you just brought up. I think the Suns get in. I think the Suns get the 6th seed. I think Dallas and the Kings, they hang around the 7th, 8th seed. I just feel like that Bradley Beal, well, not even going to count Bradley Beal because he's been kind of disappointing in my opinion for the Suns. I think D-Book and KD will, the Suns team, to add the play-in seeds, who needs to get out of the play-in seeds, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take the Suns. Out of those 3 teams, the Suns. For the 4 teams that's in the play-ins right as we speak right now, the Suns, Mavs, Lakers, and Warriors. Those are gonna be great series if the season ended right now. But I know Mavs, Lakers, and Warriors, they don't want to see the Suns. I'm not saying the Suns are a great team. They are a great team, but they got to put it all together still. We've seen it last year. They kind of crapped the bed because they don't have too much depth, but I think the Suns need to get up out of there.
All right, one more thing. I think we kind of feel the same way on Golden State. I don't think we both feel like they won't make the playoffs this year.
No.
But besides Golden State, who do you feel is going to be the odd man out come playoff time? Playing tournaments all over right now, how these teams are playing. Who is the odd man out?
We're keeping it a buck. I don't know because I don't want to be the LeBron sexual and y'all start roasting me like, oh yeah, of course he said LeBron's gonna make it out of the play-in. Y'all gonna say the NBA's rigged. I'm being for real. Y'all gonna say the NBA's rigged if I pick LeBron and the Lakers to make it out the play-in. I mean, they could beat the Mavericks.
So you think Phoenix, beats the Mavs and then LA beats Golden State and the Mavs and gets that 8th spot?
That's how I got it.
I'm not gonna lie.
It hurts to say that because I'm really torn between the Mavs and Lakers, but I think Lakers and Suns make it out to play in.
I think the best thing as well is that if OKC wins the West, Denver wins the West. I don't know if the Lakers want to see Denver in it.
That's what I'm saying as well. Like it's tough.
Well, we could dive more in that at a later date. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, given where it's at right now. We still, like I said, had 13 games left to play, so there's still a lot of basketball left to play. But just get your thoughts and opinions on that right now.
For sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for that segment. Give us your thoughts and opinions about the games that we covered, and also give us your thoughts and opinions about what Khalil just asked me: the play-in seeds in the West, 7 through 10 seeds. Who makes it into the 6th seed to avoid playing the play-in? And who are the 2 teams you guys think make it out of the play-in? Leave that all in the comment section below. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving into the next topic of the night. You already know what's here. March Madness. This has been so crazy so far. We're not even that many days in. I'm not gonna lie. If you want people to see your bracket is perfect, you lying. Go take a lie detector test because I know a lot of these brackets are busted after a lot of these games that have occurred already. So Lil, go ahead and kick it off, man. Let's talk.
Well, I started by saying I'm kind of sad right now because my Cinderella baby, they're gonna clap right now, and it's just because I'm from Jersey, so I like St. Pete.
St. Peter's.
But they getting clapped right now. They down 20.
Yeah.
They down 20 to Tennessee right now. It's 27-7. So this is bad. But before we dive into what we see how this tournament playing out, we got to talk about the big upset that's already done happened today. Oakland has knocked off the number 3 seeded Kentucky Wildcats 80-76.
That's nuts.
I just want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that before we jump in, because I think that is big because a lot of people like this Kentucky team when you looked at what they had with Rob Dillingham and
yes.
Ryan Shepherd, two of the best players coming off the bench, and they both had abysmal games. When you look at them, Ryan Shepherd 1 for 5, 1 for 3, only 3 points. Rob Dillingham 2 for 9, 10 points. Man, it's just like for all the expectations that we have, arguably the 2 best players coming off the bench in the nation, and they get knocked off first round. What's your thoughts and opinions on that?
This is very, very disappointing by Kentucky. Not gonna hold you. You lost to an Oakland team, and Kentucky came in as the number 3 seed in their region. DJ Wagner, where were you at? I was expecting more than 0 points.
Well, DJ's been. I'll be like before you. DJ's just he gotta go to college for another year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he has to. He's not NBA ready. That's what I'm saying. Like, where were you at? Because like lights were super bright, and this man dropped nothing. Imagine if he would have dropped at least 5 or more.
My Camden boys, both of them. Bradshaw too.
Come on, man. We need y'all. Y'all gotta step up, bro. But honestly, Kentucky defense been sus. This is a team that you probably should have blew out. But again, like we all been saying countless times again, it's March Madness. Anything can happen. And now Coach Calipari and his team are out of the tournament. So big loss for Kentucky. Definitely a lot of brackets are busted off of that.
That boy Jack Goki came off the bench and gave him 32, all threes.
All threes. Straight crazy work.
He shot nothing but threes. And they all 20 shots came from the 3. But another upset that happened today as well is Duquesne, LeBron's former high school basketball coach, knocked off BYU, number 6 BYU. They're still dancing in the East region as well. Another big upset. You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, Duquesne Dukes. Good job. You knocked off a pretty good BYU team. Once I found out that LeBron's friend and LeBron's old coach was the head coach of this team, I ain't gonna lie. No, I'm not even trying to see Khalil. See, here you go. Hey, listen. LeBron sprinkled his magic. All right, he plays his lucky magic on his team, man.
He did. Once King James LeBron's before the game. Before this game.
That's what I'm saying. Once they tied the laces up, and don't start with the jokes. Don't shut up. Don't even start with the joke saying, "Oh, that's why LeBron's 4-7 in the finals." Who cares? Just be quiet. It's not about that. Let Duquesne rock. They beat Brigham Young University. They're moving on to their second round. Good win by Duquesne.
Yes, sir. And just to dive into the tournament, because we couldn't really give our preview on what happened just because we missed Monday. There's some big matchups that can potentially come down the line. And I mean, let's just start off in the East region. You got UConn, the number 1 overall seed, rightfully so. They earned it the way that they played this upcoming season, but they got to possibly face an FAU team who's coming off a Final Four last year in the second round, which is going to be a big matchup. You got Auburn that's out there. BYU's already got knocked out.
San Diego State was just in the finals last year.
SDSU, yeah. If they get past them, then they got to see a SDSU or Auburn. I think that East region is going to be a very good one. Another one that I think is going to be a good one is that is the West region. You got North Carolina, Michigan State. I know it's very cliche and it's not something that always happens. But if North Carolina and Arizona makes it to the Elite 8 to see Caleb Love go up against Ryan Davis and his
It's gonna
former
be
team.
so dope.
I think that would be a big matchup.
So
I
dope.
think that'd be something to watch as well. And then looking over at the South region, before I'm biased. I'm biased
Yeah,
because this is the reason that my boys is in. So I like my boys. Don't get me wrong. We open up against Vermont, and that's
And
the
don't be
Duke
surprised if
Blue Devils.
Vermont take y'all asses out.
Man, go ahead, bro. And the thing is with Duke and the team that they show flashes of great. They just got to put it all together.
Yep, they
And
do.
I think that's the biggest thing. But I think this is a very winnable bracket, the South bracket with Houston. Houston has been playing phenomenal basketball. Don't get me wrong. You got Duke in his bracket, Texas Tech, who's been a very, very underrated team.
They've been
Unless you've
super
been
underrated.
paying attention. They did suffer a couple close games, a couple losses that were questionable, but this is a very, very good basketball team. Marquette coming out of the Big East, and the Big East got snubbed. And this is another thing. We couldn't, but the Big East, you can't, bro. The Big East only had 3 teams make it. That's crazy, bro.
They should have
That is
more in my. They should have
crazy.
a couple more in my
I'm
opinion.
sorry, like the Power Five that we talk about when it comes to football stuff, that does not exist within basketball. Because I'm sorry, you cannot sit there and tell me that the Big East is not one of the best.
The Big
One
East
of the
got some
best
dogs.
Dogs, bro. You can't tell me that Seton Hall shouldn't have been in it or St. John's. The disrespect for that conference because
Yeah,
Marquette.
NIT.
I was just at one of them too. I ain't gonna lie, and that tea a little lit sometimes. You look at the Midwest region where you got Purdue as the number 1 seed in their bracket. Kansas with the big loss. Kansas got a big loss, losing their guard, Kevin McCullough for the tournament, a guy who was averaging 18-6. That's going to be a big loss. I think that kind of hurts the chances. They're already. I think Hunter Dickinson will be playing in the tournament, but they were both did not play in the Big 12 championship just due to injury. So to hear that he's not going to be in the March Madness tournament as well, I think it's going to be very big and very crucial. You got South Carolina. Creighton is a very solid team. They got upset. Tennessee is handling business right now. What they're doing to St. Peter's. Tennessee is a team that you got to watch out for. But I'm not gonna lie. I think out of all these brackets, I gotta say the West region. In my personal
definitely
opinion,
the best, in my opinion.
The West region is definitely a hard region. Michigan State has already beat Mississippi State today, so they're moving on to possibly play North Carolina. I think that's gonna be a very good matchup.
The East region is solid too. Like we talked about the East region earlier, they're really solid. It's a lot of underrated teams in that bracket.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, especially the top part of that bracket, who the road that UConn would probably have to go through. I mean, it's not no slouches. Like
Not
FAU is a very solid basketball team. This is a very experienced basketball team. When you look at Auburn is an experienced basketball team. Iowa State on the other side of the bracket that they may have to see in the Elite Eight is another very good basketball team coming out of the Big 12. So that's
I got a question for you.
Well. What's up?
What bracket region do you think is the weakest out of all 4 of these? I got my answer already.
The weakest?
The weakest.
As far as you think, like the top seeds are going to coast through?
Pretty much. Not now. Again, I'm not saying this is no. Okay, I'm gonna say Midwest. I'm gonna say Midwest as well because I'm like, dog.
But here's the thing.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy.
Here's the thing as well. Purdue as the number 1 seed, and that we've seen this Purdue team get knocked off just last year by a 16 seed. We've seen them the past couple of years be dominant in the regular season and lay an egg in the tournament. So it's no real way to say like, oh yeah, Purdue is just gonna coast through and win their side of the bracket. I can't give it to them. I'm not gonna lie, I can't give it to them. But South Carolina, the number 6 seed in that bracket, has already been put out by the Oregon. I think Oregon was one of the teams that you kept an eye out for as a double-digit seed to win. I had them winning this game, and rightfully so, they did. But I'm not sold on Purdue. Like, no offense, but like, give me kind of James Harden vibes. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
That comparison.
Come to big stage, fold. That's what Purdue has. I'm not putting no stock into it. maybe they have a Virginia type run because remember Virginia got put out by the 16th seed, first team to ever get put out by a 16th seed, and turn around the next year and win a natty.
Natty.
So maybe they do that, but it's not guaranteed, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro.
Who do you think makes it out of each region? Let's who you got making it out each region?
The East region, like all the way to the Final Four.
Yeah, to the Final Four.
It's really hard to root against UConn. They're your national champions last year, so I'm gonna give 3 teams. I'm keeping it.
No. You got one.
Ah,
All you can go with is
why you doing this? Why are you doing this to me, man?
I got to.
I'm gonna say UConn. But I don't think they
I'm
win it
right
all
there
again.
with you.
I got
I'm right
UConn.
there with you. They've been the best basketball team in college, reigning national championship champions.
100%.
I think they make it at least to the Elite Eight, but I got to win it. I got to make it out the East. All right, so let's look over at the West. Who you got making it out the West?
Again, this is another. Why you gotta do this to me, man? I'm gonna say Arizona. I think in Elite Eight we'll see either Arizona versus North Carolina or Michigan State. I'm gonna see out of those two, but I got Arizona. I think Arizona is out of them and UNC, who's best teams in this bracket. But I think to give UNC a little run, I think Arizona's the best team in the West.
That one's tough for me because
it is, and I'm looking at it. I'm like,
I'm a Duke fan, so you know how I feel about North Carolina. And when you look at Arizona, all I see is Caleb Love. To me, he's a North Carolina guy, so I don't like him either. And then we lost to Arizona earlier this year, so I didn't like that either. But I'm right there with you. I got North Carolina versus Arizona and Arizona and Caleb Love. I think Caleb Love goes for 30 against
30
against North Carolina. Yes, I got him going for 30 in an upset against North Carolina. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying I think Arizona is a really, really good basketball team. So I think they make it out past Elite Eight. They're gonna represent the East in the Final Four.
What about the South region? Ooh. Who you got coming out the South? Dirty South.
Okay. I did have Kentucky, but they want to play crappy defense, lose to Oakland. So now that Kentucky's out, I'm gonna go Duke. No bias. I'm gonna go Duke. Duke, again, they've had their ups and downs, slightly a couple downs, but I think Duke could definitely represent the South region. And I know you're a Duke fan, so you're probably gonna agree with me, but in my opinion, it's out of Duke and Marquette. Marquette's always been one of those teams that they hang around near. They had a couple bad seasons.
Houston? You don't got no faith in Houston?
I do. They're my third team. They really are my third team. But for some reason, I just see Houston getting knocked off like in the Sweet 16.
By Duke?
I just see upset happening. Yeah.
I mean, you already know how I'm going with. I'm riding with the Blue Devils. I ride with Blue Devils to the wheels fall off. I am very, very disappointed in what I saw in the ACC tournament. Hopefully, they turn around, kick another gear, and do something. Let's get back to the Final Four at least. We were just there a couple years ago, 2021. Coach K last year. Let's get back there. I think we could do it. I think we could get back to the Final Four. Like you mentioned, Kentucky has already lost, so they're out of there. They're going home. So that's one of the more competitive teams you don't have to worry about. Texas Tech is on the other side of the bracket, so you won't have to see them until later. North Carolina State, the winners of the ACC tournament, who won 5 games straight, is playing Texas Tech. That's going to be one of the best matchups of the weekend as well.
I'm about to put it on my TV right now.
So you make sure y'all tune into that. But I like Duke. I think they could. I like them to smoke Vermont. Then you're lining up against probably Wisconsin. Obviously, if they get James Madison, definitely smoking them. But even if you get Wisconsin, I think they're just a better basketball team than Wisconsin, more athletic team than Wisconsin, in my personal opinion. And if that athleticism shows, I think they get the job done there. And then they meet up with Houston in the Sweet 16, and we take care of business. But that's who I got making it out the South all the way to the Final Four.
Most def. I'm with you.
And over to the Midwest region.
Last but not least, like me and Khalil said, this is, in my opinion, the weakest region of the whole March Madness bracket. And that's why I asked Khalil, like, who you think is kind of going to coast to it? Kansas have a big injury by losing Kevin McCullough. So, I mean, I think they have in my opinion, they have other players to step up. But I don't really trust Purdue like that either. Like Khalil said, I can see Purdue losing in the third round. So I'm gonna go with my pick. I'm gonna say Tennessee. I mean, they're spanking St. Peter's right now, who was a Cinderella team previously, but Tennessee's a really, really good basketball team. I got them making it out of the Midwest.
This is tough. This is honestly a tough one for me because going into this, I probably would have liked Kansas. If Kansas was fully healthy, I probably would have won Kansas,
And that's
especially
why I
with
said I'm
the healthy
scared.
Hunter Dickinson and everything else. You got Gonzaga, who's a very solid team as well. Ah, ah. So I'm gonna step out on a limb. And I got the Blue Jays, Creighton Blue Jays
Whoa.
coming out the Midwest.
Creighton.
I like
Listen,
it.
this is another Big East team. Khalil talk about these Big East teams. They're sleeper teams. You can't sleep
They're
on these
sleeper team.
Big East
Creighton,
teams.
and if you pay attention to college basketball for any length of time, Creighton has been a very good basketball team
You have.
for a length of time. And I'll be honest, like I feel like it comes out of that side of Tennessee and Creighton. I think Tennessee and Creighton both makes it to the Sweet 16, and the winner of that is going to eventually go on to become the winner of the Midwest region, in my personal opinion, and get to the Final Four. So I'm going Creighton Blue Jays to the Final Four.
Hey, we gonna see. These are all great picks, but ladies and gentlemen, that is it for that topic. March Madness. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Whether it's on CBS, TBS, True TV,
TNT.
TNT. Make sure y'all just
Yep.
stay tuned in and locked in. There's gonna be some great games. You know, the tournament is so exciting. My question to you guys in the comment section: who do you guys think makes out of each region? We really want to know that in the comment section. All right, transitioning over to the third topic of the night. Let's move into the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. They acquired Russell Wilson via free agency a couple weeks ago. Over this past weekend, the Pittsburgh Steelers also ended up trading for Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick that can turn into a 4th-round pick if he plays over 50% of his snaps. First, let's talk about this. How do you think the signing of Justin Fields will impact Russell Wilson going into the 2024 season? I'm going to kick this one off. Big Russell Wilson fan here. And only like that, only is, okay, see? The peanut gallery is laughing.
My bad.
What you laughing for, bro?
My bad.
Relax. I will go pull my Russell Wilson jersey out right now from my closet. I'm not going to say this would deter Russell Wilson, but he definitely got his work cut out for him. Russell Wilson has not been elite since 2015, 2016, probably 2014. We'd be keeping it a buck. I'll say 2014. That's the last time we've seen him be actually elite. These last couple of years been very disappointing. And he has work cut out for him. He's going on a Steelers offense that doesn't have too much on it, but he has a great defense over there in Pittsburgh, a top 10 defense, arguably. He's led by a great head coach. But this is going to put pressure on Russell Wilson to perform to the best of his ability. Because if he doesn't, they're going to give it over to Justin Fields mid-season. Russell Wilson has to be on his A game. And yes, again, like we just said, he hasn't been elite. I'll say like almost 10 years. That's a long time for a quarterback to actually like not be in a top 10 level. And don't get me wrong, Justin Fields has not been the greatest. His first three years in change with Chicago Bears. I don't think Justin Fields that good coming out of college. He had a great speed. He had a really nice arm, but his accuracy, his decision making, his traits, it just didn't sit well with me, honestly, at all. And I'm happy that the Bears moved on from him. I know Khalil is upset that the Bears moved on from him, but whatever. Well, not even really Khalil. It's really Dino, because Dino loved Justin Fields because he went to Ohio State. But we're not talking about that right now. But I think that's how it affects Russell Wilson. He's got to be on his A game, but he hasn't been elite in like 10 years. So he has work cut out for him going into camp.
Well, first of all, time out. Because you were just calling him elite like 2 years ago. What happened to that?
2 years ago. He hasn't been elite the last couple of years. What are you talking about?
Bro. Before the Denver year, you was still calling him elite. You was one of the let Russ cook. Russ done burned down the kitchen. Well, I ain't even gonna get it. Before I go, my question to you is: do Russ finish the season as the starting quarterback as the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm going to say no. And this is a Russell Wilson fan, and this is all I was going to get into after you went. You pretty much took a question I was going to ask you. Russell Wilson, if he plays poorly by week 9, Justin Fields will be taking over. This is where the Bears are going to get that 4th-round pick, turning from a 6th, because I don't think Russell Wilson's going to play that great. Yes, this is a new change of scenery. The Steelers are only getting Russell Wilson for $1.2 million, and they're getting Justin Fields for not even that much more. So Russell Wilson has to bounce back. He has to have an elite camp. He has to have a great camp. He has to have a great season. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, and this sucks coming from a person who's a Russell Wilson fan. But I think Justin Fields takes over by at least week 9 or week 10, depending on Russell Wilson's play. If it's bad, Russ is going right to the bench.
I'm gonna start off by saying this. I wish nothing but poverty for the Chicago Bears because they just suck. Because for them to just get rid of Justin Fields like that after him being the only good thing that y'all had for at least his first 2 seasons, where he had no real weapons besides Darnell Mooney. He's not a legit number one, so stop it. I don't want to hear Dennis or anybody else. They had an atrocious, one of the worst offensive lines to ever put out there. Not a top elite back in my personal opinion. Shout out to Khalil Herbert because we got the same name, but he's not a top back. David Montgomery wasn't a top back either. Like, let's be real. Like, what did he have to work with? I guess Cole Kmet came on as a lead. You get DJ Moore in his 3rd year. And then, you kind of alternate the offense. You have, in 3 years, you have 2 different offensive coordinators. You have 2 different head coaches in 3 years. And he was just never really set up for success. So I'm happy he got out of that poverty franchise. They haven't had a 4,000 passer ever they're the only team to never have a 4,000 passer in their franchise. And 100% I see why, because they just suck. They're just trash. I'm sorry, they're just trash. But anyway.
So hold on, wait. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You think Justin Fields was going to be turned into a 4,000-yard passer?
I think if you put the right pieces around him, he has the potential to become a 4,000 yards passer. Yes.
Yes.
If you put the right pieces. But I like the move. I like the destination that he went to. One, you go to Mike Tomlin, one of the more established head coaches in the NFL. I think he is the longest tenured coach with his team in the NFL at this point. Now that Bill Belichick is no longer the coach of the New England Patriots, you get him with 2 very, very good running backs in Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. You got Pickens, you got Freiermuth. That offensive line needs some work, but you still have one of the top defenses in the NFL. Another thing that Chicago didn't really have, they do a very good job of getting some very good defensive pieces. I like some of the pieces that they have, but as a whole, I don't think they are one of the best defenses in the NFL. But then you get to sit behind, a vet and Russell Wilson, and you don't have the pressure of starting. But I do personally think at some point or another in this season, he does become the starting quarterback, and they get rid of Russ. I don't know if they even keep him the whole year. I see a scenario where he's not on the roster by the end of this season, to be honest with you. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, when you're paying a guy only $1.2 million, it's very easy to cut that contract, rip that contract, and shred it. Shoot, but the Denver got rid of it and they got $85 million against their cap, and they owe him $39. He got no problem getting rid of him. And I've always been one of those guys. Russ is way more overrated, way more overhyped. When you really look at Russ, I get it. He's the all-time passing yards leader in Seattle Seahawks history and all that. But what has he done since the Legion of Boom? Since he had one of the all-time greatest defenses, and we talked about this, I think it was last podcast. Not only did he have one of the all-time greatest defenses, we seen him put on an all-time show against arguably one of the greatest offenses ever in the Super Bowl. To hold that greatest offense to 9 points in that Super Bowl, yes, they should 100% win that. So cry me a river. He doesn't have any MVPs or anything like that. No first team All Pros. So please stop it. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. He doesn't have.
I feel like I'm being attacked by you right now.
I'm not attacking nobody. I'm just telling you how it is. It's the facts. It's true. It's true. I think he's a bus rider, not a bus driver. Sorry. When you really look at it, but I don't know. I think it's a solid move. I love the move. I love what Justin Fields went to get out of that poverty franchise, that atrocious franchises that just don't know what the hell they doing sometimes, I feel like. And for them to only get a 6th-round pick that can possibly go up to a 4th, they got absolutely fleeced, and rightfully so. You should get fleeced. Because, I mean, obviously, if Justin Fields was just a trading piece, I think he could definitely go for more. But given the fact that everybody knew that they was going to get off of him, you don't deserve nothing more than a 6th-round picks. So that's my opinion on the whole situation.
Pretty much we're on the same track that Russell Wilson's going to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but then by mid or kind of a little bit past midseason, we benched in favor for Justin Fields?
Yes, because I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if this is a bold take. I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't know if it's something that other people feel. Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson at this point.
At this point, yes, I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
So I like to hear day one.
I can agree with that. And I'm not gonna be
know what?
biased. I'm not gonna be biased.
You start to come around sometimes. You start when you listen.
See, here you
start
go.
to come around
You're doing a little bit too much right now. You're doing a little too much. Calm down. Let me pull the reins. Let me pull the reins right quick. Let me pull the reins right quick because you're doing too much.
When you come to your senses, you're not a bad guy, man.
Doing too much.
Not that bad of a guy.
If Justin Fields can get his mechanics down as a passer and be accurate and be a better decision maker, he's gonna be solid for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they need help over there in Pittsburgh. They need a lot of help. I mean, they have a solid offensive line. They need more than George Pickens at receiver. They need more than that. I mean, they're bringing in Van Jefferson, but Van Jefferson has never been good in his career, in my opinion, honestly. So Najee Harris is not even top 10 running back. They got Warren behind Najee Harris. They got Fire Move at tight end. But again, outside of that, what are you going to do? Because the whole problem with Justin Fields was they didn't have enough pieces around him.
I mean, I think personally where they sit right now and they have the 20th pick, which is not the most ideal pick, but given how deep this class is, you go get you a dog, man. You go get you one of them receivers out the first round to pair with Pickens and Freiermuth and Van Jefferson and them boys.
I think Brian Thomas, if he slips down that low, I think Brian Thomas would be a good selection for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I could agree with that.
I think Brian Thomas would be good. Because that's all I'm about to say. Like, the notion was Russell Wilson hasn't been good. Now, don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson has had talent around him in Denver. Has the talent panned out? No, but Russell Wilson has not panned out either. Relax. Now, the notion also was for Justin Fields, he didn't have enough for him in Chicago. So now that you bring Justin Fields to Pittsburgh, what are you going to put around him? I think, like you said, draft a receiver in the first round, continue to build an offensive line. I think they should get another receiver, in my opinion. That's my three. Get a receiver in the first round, try to build an O-line continuously, and also try to snag another receiver in later rounds if they're available. That's just me.
I also think, given who Arthur Smith is, the OC in Pittsburgh this year, and given the offenses he likes to run, I think the offense is set up for success. I'll be honest.
Yes. Arthur Smith, the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith, who can call game.
Time out. As an OC who had Ryan Tannehill and that team as the number one seed in the AFC.
I understand that. I was gonna bring that up. He did. In 2021, yes, he did. You are correct. But nope. Don't trust Arthur Smith.
Yeah. I think I'm not saying like, oh, he's one of the offensive gurus, but I think given the skill set that Justin Fields carry and his ability to be mobile and run a football, I think that's going to open up a lot, especially when you have a two-headed back and Najee Harris and Jalen Warren already. And then you put that with Freiermuth and Pickens and whoever they go get in the draft. Like, yes, I think that can be very, very good.
Bro, we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, give us your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback dilemma. Do you guys think Russell Wilson will be benched by midseason, or do you guys think Russell Wilson will actually have a good year and be the starter for the whole season? Or do you guys think Justin Fields takes over, he shows why he was a first-round draft pick? If you were the Pittsburgh Steelers, what would you do to help your quarterback in the draft? Who would you draft in the first round if you were a Pittsburgh Steelers GM? Leave that all in the comment section below. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight for episode 53 of Before the Horn podcast. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Pretty short episode, but again, we want to deliver it to you guys. Make sure you guys get some good content. Give us y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Make sure you guys are interacting with us. All the questions I'll be asking y'all, make sure you guys are leave it in the comment section. We actually want to answer your questions and write back to you guys. Also, you guys can DM us on Instagram or any of our pages so we respond to those questions as well. But thank you all for the platform you guys are watching and listening to us on. We appreciate the continuous support. Also, make sure you guys check out our Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you guys can help support us in any type of way. So we all just regular guys trying to make sure we putting great content out there for you guys to talk about sports. We love bringing this to you guys twice a week. We can also get some help from you guys for as little as $2 a month. So make sure you guys check out our Patreon. The link will be down in the description box below.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys, like Day One said, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share this to your loved ones, your friends, your family. Like we do this for you guys. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Before the Horn Podcast, TikTok and Twitter at Before the Horn Pod. We've been talking about a couple big things. We're not gonna tell y'all yet. We're gonna keep that on the DL. But for the ones that have been supporting and going along this journey with us, we've been working on a couple big things that we cannot wait to get out to y'all. We're not gonna say anything yet, but they're coming soon. So make sure you stay in tune with that. But for the meantime, like I said, make sure you keep showing love because we appreciate everything that, all the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes with it. We appreciate y'all.
Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for tuning in to Before the Horn Podcast, episode 53. We shall see you guys next time. Peace.